Namaskara, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಬಸವ ಜಯಂತಿಯ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು. Today I am here to introduce our honorable guest, Ms. Priyanka Radhakrishnan. Priyanka has lived and worked overseas and around Aotearoa, New Zealand. She has spent her work life advocating on behalf of groups of people whose voices are often unheard, particularly women, survivors of domestic violence, and migrant workers who have been exploited, and lobbying government for legislative and policy change. She has also worked with our diverse communities across Aotearoa and is committed to ensuring that their voices are heard at all levels of decision-making. For Priyanka, politics is about choices. She believes that decision-making should be community-led and should lead to better outcomes for everyone, not just the privileged few. She believes that everyone should have the opportunity to live with dignity. That means equitable access to affordable housing, quality education, and decent, secure work. It also means that everyone should feel safe both in their homes and outside on the streets. Priyanka, as the Parliamentary Private Secretary to the Minister of Ethnic Communities and a list member of Parliament based in Maungakeke, Auckland. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaitra. Kia ora koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui kia koutou, namaskara, elarigu Basava Jayanthi shubhashayagalu. Can I begin by saying a huge thank you to all of you for the opportunity to join you, even if this year it's a virtual celebration. In previous years, of course, we've all been there in the same hall together, but I know a huge amount of work would have gone on behind the scenes for all of you to be able to put this together. So can I just say a huge thank you to all of you who've worked incredibly hard. Also, a happy 20th anniversary to the New Zealand chapter of the Basava Samiti Australasia. It's always incredibly uplifting to come to Basava Jayanthi and to celebrate Basavanna's life, teachings and philosophy with all of you. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Also, just want to acknowledge a few people quickly. Can I thank Dr. Lingappa and Lena Kalburgi for the invitation to be here and say a few words today. Can I acknowledge the presence of Pujya Swamiji, who has joined us as well for today's celebrations, and just acknowledging my parliamentary colleagues. I saw Michael Wood earlier on, and I know that Mrs. Bakshi will be speaking a little bit later as well. So as I mentioned previously, it's particularly uplifting, I guess, as a member of parliament, to celebrate the life of someone who was a statesman, a poet, a philosopher, a social reformer, and a guru, and somebody who I know is said to have brought to the world, I guess, for the first time, the concept of parliament. So as a parliamentarian, it's quite special to celebrate year in, year out with all of you. As a Labour parliamentarian, it's particularly special because the philosophy and teachings of Basavanna around equality, equal opportunity regardless of social class, of status, his advocacy for gender equality, all of those principles are ones that we hold on to as well. The principles that the Labour movement was founded on also, the fact that everyone should have equal access to social, economic, cultural, political spheres, regardless of wealth or social position, principles of collectivism, solidarity, those are all principles that we, that Labour has been founded on as well. So particularly special to be here and celebrate his life and teachings. And just finally, I was reading a little bit about Basavanna's philosophy around work being worship. And, particularly in the frame of the fact that Budget Day was on Thursday, Budget 2020, that has a huge focus on jobs, on rebuilding the economy together in a way that is sustainable and equitable, I think echoes that philosophy that we share as well. And finally, of course, it is the COVID pandemic situation that has meant that we are meeting virtually today. And so can I just, I guess, end the few words that I have been invited to say today by thanking you all, because we're only here where we are today as a nation. We've done well to avoid the devastation that we've seen in many other places. But we're only here because we worked, as the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern says, we worked together as a collective team of 5 million, of which, of course, you are a part. So can I thank you for all that all of you have done over the last 7 to 8 weeks to help us to get to this position. Just before I leave, given that it has been budget, I've unfortunately got to go just before 7 to do an interview on one of our Indian radio stations. So I'll just take your leave now. Thank you again for the opportunity to be here, to listen to the wonderful music from the little ones and Divakarji. It was fabulous, and adds to the fact that this is such an uplifting event for me. So once again, a huge thank you to all of you. Sharana Sharanarthi, Dhanyavadagalu. Thank you.
Sharanu Priyanka, thanks a lot for participating in Basava Jayanthi celebrations and speaking few words, even though in spite of your tight schedule. As you said, Basavanna is a Vishwa Manava. That means he is no caste, greed and all those things. And literally we in New Zealand, we follow that. And thanks for your presence. Appreciate that.
Thank you.